Hello, this is DIY Reptiles, and today I'm going to be expanding my Dubia Roach colony. So here are my Dubia Roaches, and I don't keep them like a lot of people do, but it works very well for me, and I can show you that it does work very well because there are an absolute ton of roaches in here, especially baby roaches. So I think that it's becoming a little bit overcrowded, and it's a little bit hard to like bear this many roaches in this small of an enclosure. So like feeding them is like crazy because I have to feed them all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and expand the colony. So I'll move them into this tub, which is the same tub, and I cleared off the space so they both fit up on top of my iguana's cage. So here you can see, just expand it, double the size, so then there's more room and hopefully there'll be more breeding and stuff. So the one thing I have to do with this tub is I need to drill holes in it. As you can see here, this one has a bunch of holes. So that's the first thing I need to do. And then basically I'm just gonna move half of everything in here into there. And then there's a lot of, I have a bit of a cohabitation going. There's the Dubia roaches, obviously, but then there's also the worms, the buffalo beetle, so lesser mealworms, and there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them on these egg crates. So I'm gonna move a lot of those egg crates over, and then I have some other ones, and then I will go ahead and add in their food and whatnot, and I'll talk about what I feed them. But as you can see in here, I have like leaves, like botanicals and stuff, and I need to put more in here. That's just kind of like an extra hiding place for them. I need to replace those, and I'll go ahead and add those to here, but I haven't sanitized any leaves in a while, so I need to do that first. I actually need some botanicals and stuff for the bottom of my iguana's cage too, but I kind of like having those in there. I think that's a pretty interesting way of keeping them, so I'll go ahead and do that with this colony at some point. But basically I'm just gonna expand, and I'm also going to be expanding my red runner roaches. So I have the red runner roaches here, but I'm going to be doing that in a different video, and I'll be putting those into that tub, which is much bigger. So hope you guys enjoy. To drill the holes, I got out a drill bit that I thought would be small enough that I wouldn't have to worry about the Dubia roaches getting out, and I put it down on some cardboard and started drilling. So I drilled the holes. I drilled a lot more and a lot cleaner than I did originally, and that's because I kind of have trouble with humidity in here, just with all the fresh vegetables and greens that I feed them. A lot of times they're wet, so it just creates a lot of humidity, so I'm always wiping it out whenever I open it up. So I always wipe off the sides. You can see the build up there. I always wipe that off every single time I open up the enclosure, so then I can keep the humidity down. But hopefully this will help not deal with that, and it looks a lot nicer. Like, I mean, it's not straight or anything, but like if you look at this has all those things, and I think the reason is because I did this like just with it was on the enclosure, but this I took outside and I drilled into something behind it or under it, and I think that helped a lot, and I dug a lot more holes, so that's pretty nice. So now I'm just gonna move things over. I don't think there's anything else to do other than move things over. I'm going to be using, so like I said, I have these leaves in here. I don't have like a ton of cartons right now, and I think I'm gonna save at least one of these for the red runner roaches, so I'll just move these over. But I'm going to use these as well. These are pieces of palm, and I collected these in Florida, and I sanitized it, obviously. But basically what part this is like the part that's connected to the tree, and then from here the palm branch comes out, I think, or yeah. So it'll be that, and I'll just put these in here, and you might recognize these. These were in the enclosure with Linus, but now Linus is in there. So I'm going to use these in here as well, and I think those will be good hiding places for the roaches as well. And I might even add in some other pieces of wood, just because I have a bunch of wood up there, and it's kind of filling up that whole area, and I need to clear it out because I need to put this right there. So that's why I'm using those. I'd rather not store them. If I could store them in here, then that would work a lot better. So I'm gonna start moving the roaches over. I'm sure that there is a better way that I could have done this, but I just started moving egg crates. I didn't do it evenly. I didn't count them. I just tried to look and make sure that it seemed like there was an even number of adults. And what I'm gonna do is I'll continue taking from one of these colonies, but the other one I'll just feed it. So then it can just work on expanding. And so I probably should have counted them or something, like made sure that there were even amounts in each container, but I did not. So if I notice that like one colony's eating a whole lot more than the other colony, then I will just try to move some adults over, because I actually am thinking that maybe I moved like more, like there's actually more adult roaches in this side than there is on this side. Sorry, that was a dead roach. I'm putting it over here so the insects can eat it. But that's what those buffalo beetles, also known as lesser mealworms, that's what those are for. If a roach dies, then they eat the roach. So that's why they're important in here. And here you can see a couple of the beetles. There's actually a big one right there, and also pupa right there. And then I just saw a beetle. They're really small, but they're very similar to mealworms. They're just tiny. But here there's a beetle right there. There's one. You can see. Almost looks like a baby Dubia Roach, like a baby. But these are them. I moved a lot of the egg crates over. So I actually added these into this enclosure, which I think is just fine. But I think I'm quite happy with this. Here you can see what I feed them. I do the rolled oats, and these come in like those cylinder containers or whatever. And I don't think those might not be like the best foods, but the roaches eat them, so I don't really worry about it too much. And then I feed them Missouri tortoise diet and aquatic turtle food. Now they go like really crazy for this stuff for some reason, and I don't see anything wrong with feeding it to them, because I mean these are reptile diets. Like these, I mean I'm sure it's a tortoise diet, so it probably has a lot of different types of like vegetable type of things that tortoises should be eating, like grass type of things. And then there's aquatic turtle diet, which I'm sure has like protein and omnivorous type of range there. So that gives these guys what they should be getting. So then I feed these to my leopard gecko and my crested geckos every once in a while, and my bearded dragon. So bearded dragon can basically, I mean, they eat omnivorously, so they would be able to eat this stuff and this, and then I don't know. I think that makes sense to me. And then I'll feed them veggies. Here you can see some older lettuce here, but I feed them fresh vegetables that my iguana normally gets. So that's what these guys eat, and I think this is going to be really cool to have 2 enclosures now. And what I think I'm going to do is I have a heater up here. So this is the top of my iguana's cage, and as you can see, there's a ceramic heat emitter there. Only one of them's on because it's summer right now, so I don't really need 2 of them on. But here you can see I have a heat pad, and what I think I'm going to do is just put it in the middle here. So now there's a little bit on each side. Each enclosure will get a little bit of the heat. And then what I'll do is, you can see these don't quite fill up this whole area, so this one go like that. I'll put this one, let's see, like that, so then they'll sit just right up there, and then they can chill out in this area to get their heat. So I think this is pretty cool, and I'm quite excited about it, and I hope you guys enjoy just simply expanding the roach colony, giving them more space, because I feel like if they have more space, then they'll breed more. I mean, that makes sense to me. So, I mean, they don't really have a whole lot more space. There's only one more egg crate, but I think I'll be able to feed them a lot more in here, because now I'm going to treat it as 2 separate enclosures, and that will make me be able to feed them more without worrying about the humidity in this enclosure. And then also I will eventually fill this with egg crate. I don't buy egg crate, I just use literal egg cartons, because honestly for a little while I didn't know the difference. But yeah, you can buy like proper egg crate to use with these guys, and I have it like laid down horizontally. Most people keep them vertically. This is not gonna like suffocate them or crush them in any way, like somebody commented. No, they hide in this stuff like they're roaches. I think that's all I need to say. They're roaches, so they're gonna be able to get in there, and they hide in that tight space, and I think they like that. So, and then it's quite dark and it's warm up there. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like down below. If you have any comments or concerns, comments below, and if you want more content, then subscribe. Have a fantastic day.